Echoes of the Horizon. Chapter 4. The Hunter's Shadow.
The transport rattled across the barren wasteland, its engine groaning under the strain of the uneven terrain. Inside, the mood was heavy with unspoken tension. Aria Velos sat at the controls, her expression set in grim determination. Soren slouched in the co-pilot's seat, his rifle resting against the dashboard, while in the back, Dr. Vyn Acasta hovered over the containment unit. The relic pulsed faintly, its golden glow casting strange, dancing shadows against the walls of the cabin. Vyn hadn't spoken much since the encounter in the dead zone. His usual stream of nervous commentary had been replaced by a somber silence as he monitored the relic's signals on his tablet. Occasionally, he would glance out the window at the distant storm clouds, his face pale and drawn. Kai broke the silence. "How much farther to this safe house of yours, Velos?" "An hour," Aria replied without taking her eyes off the horizon. "If the transport holds up." "Big if," Kai muttered, leaning back in his seat. "Feels like this thing's held together with spit and hope." "It's gotten us this far," Aria shot. "Besides, it's not the transport I'm worried about." Kai followed her gaze to the storm on the horizon. Lightning arced across the sky, its electric blue glow illuminating the jagged silhouettes of distant rock formations. But it wasn't the storm that had Aria on edge, it was what might be following them. "We haven't seen any sign of the enforcers since the dead zone," Kai said, as though reading her thoughts. "Maybe we lost them." Aria shook her head. "We didn't lose them. Sorathanis doesn't give up that easily." The safe house was a relic from another era, hidden deep within a network of canyons carved by ancient rivers. From above, it was nearly invisible, blending seamlessly with the rocky landscape. As the transport descended into the canyon, the engine's whine echoed off the stone walls, masking any sounds from the outside world. Aria brought the vehicle to a stop in front of a rusted steel door set into the canyon wall. She climbed out, motioning for Kai and Vyn to follow. "Stay alert," she said. "If the council's tracking us, this place might not stay safe for long." Kai scanned the surroundings with his rifle at the ready, while Vyn carried the containment unit, his hands trembling slightly. The door hissed open, revealing a dimly lit interior that smelled faintly of oil and decay. The safe house was more bunker than home, a single large room outfitted with ancient machinery, a few battered chairs, and a dusty cot pushed against one wall. Aria immediately went to work powering up the systems, flipping switches on a cracked control panel until the room was bathed in a faint orange glow. "It's not much," she said, tossing her gear onto a nearby table. "But it'll do." Kai sat down heavily in one of the chairs, his rifle resting across his knees. "As long as it keeps the enforcers out, I'm not complaining." Vyn placed the containment unit on the table, his eyes darting nervously around the room. "We shouldn't stay here long," he said. "The relic's signal is still broadcasting. It's only a matter of time before they find us, or worse." Aria turned to him, her eyes narrowing. "What do you mean, worse?" Vyn hesitated, his fingers fidgeting with the edge of his tablet. "The creature we encountered in the dead zone, it wasn't the only one. I've been analyzing the relic's patterns and the signal. It's drawing more attention. Not just from our dimension, but from others." Kai groaned. "Fantastic. So we've got interdimensional monsters and the council on our tail. Anything else we should know about, Doc?" Before Vyn could answer, a low rumble shook the bunker. The lights flickered and the hum of the generator wavered. Aria's hand went to her sidearm, her instincts on high alert. "That didn't sound like the generator," she said. Kai was already on his feet, his rifle trained on the door. "We've got company." The first attack came without warning. The steel door buckled inward with a deafening crash, and a second later, an explosion of smoke and debris filled the room. Aria dove for cover, her pistol drawn, as a squad of council enforcers poured into the bunker. Their black armor gleamed in the dim light, and their weapons hummed with deadly energy. "Hold your fire!" Aria shouted to her team, raising her hands in a show of surrender. "Let's see what they want." The lead enforcer stepped forward, his helmet visor glowing a menacing red. He raised his weapon, but instead of firing, he spoke, his voice modulated and cold. "Aria Velos," he said. "By order of the council, you are to surrender the artifact immediately." "Funny," Aria replied, her tone icy. "Last time I checked, we weren't on council property anymore." The enforcer tilted his head slightly. "Your defiance is noted. Surrender now or face the consequences." Kai snorted, his rifle still aimed at the Enforcer. "Yeah, because that worked so well for you last time." The Enforcer ignored him, his gaze fixed on Aria. "This is your final warning." Aria's mind raced. They were outnumbered, and while she trusted Kai's aim, the Enforcers were better equipped. Fighting wasn't an option, not yet. She glanced at Vyn, who was crouched behind the table with the containment unit, his face pale with fear. "All right," Aria said, lowering her pistol. "You want the relic? Fine, but you'd better be ready for what comes with it." She motioned to Vyn, who hesitated before slowly lifting the containment unit into view. The Enforcer took a step forward, his visor glinting as he scanned the relic's golden glow. For a moment, the room was silent. Then, without warning, the relic pulsed violently. A wave of energy rippled through the bunker, sending the Enforcers stumbling backward. The lights flickered, and the air grew heavy with static. From the relic's core, a faint, otherworldly hum began to grow louder. "Aria," Vyn whispered, his voice trembling, "something's coming." Before she could respond, the room was plunged into chaos. The relic emitted another pulse, and the walls of the bunker seemed to ripple like water. From the distortion emerged a figure, its form shifting and amorphous. It moved with unnatural grace, its glowing eyes fixed on the relic. The Enforcers opened fire, their energy weapons lighting up the room, but the creature was unfazed. It moved through the hail of plasma bolts as though they weren't there, its liquid-like form rippling with each impact. "Fall back!" Aria shouted, grabbing the containment unit and shoving it into Vyn's arms. "We're leaving!" Kai covered their retreat, his rifle barking as he fired at anything that moved. The Enforcers were too preoccupied with the creature to stop them, and within moments, Aria and her team were sprinting back to the transport. The vehicle roared to life as Aria floored the accelerator, the wheels kicking up a cloud of dust as they sped out of the canyon. Behind them, the bunker was a cacophony of explosions and unearthly sounds. The relic pulsed in Vyn's lap, its golden light casting eerie shadows on his face. Kai glanced back, his expression grim. That thing wasn't just a creature, it was something else entirely. "Something the Council couldn't handle," Aria said, her voice tight, "which means we've got bigger problems than we thought." Vyn nodded, his hands trembling as he clutched the relic. "If we don't find a way to shut this signal down, there won't be anything left to fight over." Aria's jaw tightened as she stared at the horizon. The storm clouds ahead seemed darker than ever, their electric arcs illuminating the path forward. She knew the road ahead would only grow more dangerous, but one thing was clear: whatever was coming, they would face it together. And this time they wouldn't run.